we've finished putting the picker into our presentation. We've got that in our add-ons. Picker works. What we need to do is now customize it to work so that it selects drawings and then puts them into our presentation. So we need some, we got to actually do some coding in this episode. So let's give a couple of, let's put a couple of functions in our code.js so that we kind of have a sense of what we're going to be doing. We're going to get a drawing, and we're going to have to get an ID. I'll just call it drawing ID. And we're going to actually need an advanced service for this. So we'll have to go back up into the advanced services again. We're going to go a function, and we're going to call it getBlob. And we're going to pass a URL to this. And I'll talk more about what those are in a second. Let's go over to the picker, and let's change what that does a little bit. So I'm not going to walk through the code. The documentation does a really good job of explaining what every line does. So you can please check that out. We need to make a couple of changes, like here these spreadsheets should become drawings. And then in our picker callback, we're going to remove this where we actually display some stuff. And we're going to remove the variables URL and title. We don't need them. And we're going to call google.script.run. And we're going to say with success handler. All we want to happen is for the whole thing to close. And we're going to actually run get drawing. I think, is that what I called it? Get drawing or get drawings? Oh, shoot. Get drawing, yeah. Get drawing. And we're passing it that ID variable, which is right here. This is what's coming back once we select the file. So we're going to get that ID. It's going to go out into our code. It's going to get that drawing. Then it's going to send back. Well, it's actually just going to close this window. I'm going to indent these just to help me. So we're going to do another thing here. We're opening the whole dialog with a button. We just want it to open automatically. As soon as we do this, we want it to open. Inside result, I'm going to put loading just so we know what we're doing. Now you'll see at the bottom this Google APIs giving us a script here. And when that script loads, it's calling on API load. We can find that function up at the top. It's right here. All it's doing is going out into the cloud. It's getting a Google library of tools. It's loading the picker one, and then it's giving us, it's attaching it to the window basically, and then allowing us to manipulate it with, you know, things like this here, creating this new picker builder and stuff like that. Well, we actually want it to just, as soon as that thing loads, we want to actually, you'll see here there's a callback, and it's basically what we're doing is we are, as soon as the whole thing happens, we're going to get an OAuth token. So what's in the get OAuth token function? I'm actually just going to remove that whole thing and put it up into the on API load, and we should be good to go. Now, if we go to add-ons and insert from drawings, start, it just should give us a window with a bunch of drawings in it. And now I'm not sure on this account if I even have any drawings. Oh, I do. I've got one that I used in some other video. Perfect. Well, it's displaying. It's all we want. If you hit cancel, you got to close out the whole window. Not a problem for right now. Let's go ahead and code out the get drawing portion of our project here. And like I said, we got to actually bring in an advanced service here. Now to do that, we're going to go to Resources, Advanced Google Services, and we have to actually activate the Drive API, not the Drive app, which is made available to you. We need the Drive API itself. and then you can click on Google API Console. It's going to take us back to that Google Developers Console that we used in the first video. And we need to go back into the library, and we're going to look for Drive. Where is it? Drive. And we got a Drive API. Let's go ahead and enable that. Oh, it says API enabled. Maybe it does that automatically now. That could be one of the updates that's happened to Google Apps Script. So it is already enabled. Perfect. You can go back into your script, hit OK, and now we've got access to Drive. And you can look at the autocomplete methods that are available here, which is not to be confused with Drive App, which is one of the kind of basic Google App Scripting services. That's not going to be enough for what we actually need to do here. So we need to go to call Drive. I think it's drive.files. Let's see here. Drive.files.get. And we're going to pass in that drawing ID that we've just sent in. We're going to save that as the image. Now we're going to get an image blob. And that's going to be get blob, and we're going to pass in image dot export links, and we're going to grab the JPEG. Now what this is going to do, it's this advanced service brings us back an export link to our drawing. We're going to take that export link, we're going to turn it into a blob, and then we are going to actually insert it into our presentation. And we'll call Slides app. This is our brand new Slides app. Get active presentation. And then we are going to do the current page. And that is presentation.get selection and get current page. And then we want to do current page insert image. And we're going to put that image blob into here. But now where is this image blob coming from? We got to actually write that function too, and that should be very simple. We're going to call response equals URL fetch app dot fetch, and we're going to pass in the URL, which really bounces all the way back through here to this image export links reference in the class. Feel free to console log that and take a look at what you're actually getting back from this. So if you put a console log in here, logger.log image, you're going to get back a lot of interesting stuff from this get method. All of which is documented on the API website. So we got to pass in, because we're making a request, we got to pass an object in as the headers, and we're going to call it authorization and bearer space, and we're going to add script app get OAuth token, and that should be all we have to pass in the headers there. And then we're going to return response.getBlob. I really cannot type tonight. Sorry. Okay, response get blob. So what it's doing, it's going out there, it's grabbing a bunch of if you were to console log that, it would look like a bunch of gibberish. And then you're sending it back to get drawing, and then you are inserting it into the page. And that should be all that she wrote. Alright, so I just created an image that we're going to test with. Insert from drawings. I click on start. It's going to ask me to authorize an external service, I believe, because I use that URL fetch app. That's what you are authorizing here. Yeah, connect to an external service. Those other permissions were already a part of our project. No problem. Then we're going to select a file, loading up here, and then I should have, let's just select and see what happens. And there we go. We have now inserted a drawing right from Google Slides. Hopefully this video was interesting, informative. In part one, we talked about um, the file open dialog, or Picker API as it's called in the Google universe. And then in this we briefly did some advanced services and pulling an image blob out of there and then throwing it into our presentation. Please give me comments below. Please subscribe for more great videos. Motivate me to keep making these videos. And hit me up on Twitter at RayJT. And I will talk to you soon.